What's happening now across the Niagara frontier? News stories, old stories, stuff you know about, and stuff you'd never believe. It's the Niagara Hub Soapbox with Craig Avery.
All right, we have today our favorite author returning with her second book now called Discovery in the Woods, my sister, Sandy Barton. Welcome again.
Well, thanks.
So this is cool, just in time for St. Patrick's Day. Not necessarily tied to St. Patrick's Day, but this is a book about leprechauns.
And when you think of leprechauns, you think of St. Patrick's Day. So it's good timing.
How did this happen?
This is a real story. This is a story that I have told my students at school for 30 years. I'm retired now, but the story has become a legend at my school. And I wrote the book because the teachers would always say, please get this down in a book. They would come down and say, I'll cover your class. You tell my class about the leprechauns in your backwoods. And I did that.
So you had leprechauns living in your backyard.
I had leprechauns in my backwoods, and every child in my school district in Williamsville knows that that's just part of me. And so I decided to write a book about it. Get it down so that all children could have this really nice story that they could fill their childhood with a little bit of old childhood stuff.
Okay, cool. And it's written in the form of a chapter book for young kids. So it's short chapters so they can get through it. They can feel accomplished as readers.
Yes, that is a big milestone for children. When they can finally say, I'm reading a chapter book, they are cool. And the chapters are very short, so not only can they say, I'm reading a chapter book, but I read 4 chapters when I was just sitting here reading.
And I remember as a kid picking out a book, if it didn't have a million pictures, I wouldn't get it, because I knew that I could just flip through and look at a picture. But there's a lot of chapters in this book, but it's a small book, and you could probably get through it in a night or two with
I would say if you are
before.
reading it with your child, you could read it in maybe 3 or 4 nights and just take time to discuss what's happening. That's what's the most important thing about reading with your children, is that you don't just read the words, you talk about it. Does it remind you of anything that's ever happened to you? Or what do you think about when you're reading the story?
And the neat thing, you've got in the beginning little hints to the parent of how to read this. And again, we're in such a time, I think, in our society, whatever, we're moving so fast and we don't have time for anything. And as you said, you read the words. Well, you tell them, take time, make a voice, become the character, discuss how your child is understanding what's going on. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely, and it's so important to have stories like this that are just fun. The children have so much stress with school and testing and worrying that this is just pure fun. And children should have an opportunity to read books that are quality, that don't talk down to them, and that are just for the pure enjoyment of hearing about a friendship that's unusual. And it gives a lesson that friendships require loyalty and trust and faith and great care.
So these leprechauns
Yes.
set up a little colony in East Amherst. Now, I can't even afford to visit East Amherst, let alone live in the woods.
They were there first. They were there for hundreds of years in the woods.
And you found them.
My dog found them. We don't want to tell too much about the story,
right.
but my dog found them, and it was the beginning of a wonderful friendship.
And I remember you telling me about it.
Yes.
As I said, I thought you said lepers, so I didn't want to come in the backyard, but it wasn't lepers, it was leprechauns.
Leprechauns.
And then I think they actually visited your school one day.
They came to my school, the main
Wow.
character in the book came every year on St. Patrick's Day. And he would play tricks, and if the children saw him, they were to put their name on the board. And by the end of the day, we had names of kids from other classrooms, we had teachers. Everyone's name was on the board because they saw him at some point during the day or heard him.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it isn't specifically tied to St. Patrick's Day.
No.
It's a year-round kind of a thing. You could order this book on Amazon.com and get it in time for St. Patrick's
Yes.
Day if you want to.
Yes.
It's
It's $5.99.
$5.99 plus some shipping. But if you pay, if you buy
If you
10
buy
of them, then it's $50 and you get free shipping. So
That's
you might
right.
as well go for the free shipping. So save the $2 or whatever the shipping costs are.
I think the beauty of this book is when I put it into a book form, I already knew that the audience, elementary school children, would love it because they have loved it year after year after year. So I already knew that it would be of interest to children. And now that it's in book form, we'll see that they can keep it and pass it down.
And again, then the price point, everything makes it easy for people to order,
Yes.
easy to get, and you buy it for your nieces or nephews or your own kids or for yourself because adults certainly enjoy it as well.
They do.
It's a nice story here. So.
It is a nice story.
All right, cool. I'm proud of you. Thank
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
What's your next book going to be?
My next book is already written, and I'm going to try to illustrate it. And it's a story about a Christmas tree that was thrown out, and a little group of animals decided what they were going to do with the discarded tree. And that's another thing that really happened. My life.
Very good. All right. Well, congratulations. And
Thank you.
Discovery in the Woods by Sandy Barton. We'll put the picture up on the hub here of the cover and some ordering instructions. It's a great opportunity. And you're also contacting libraries around the country
Yes.
who are already buying this thing. Right?
Yes. Complete
Cool.
strangers have decided this is a worthy book.
Love it. Love it. All right. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody.
Thank you.